Let me just pull up YouTube. They have like a dashboard here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Let's see if that's working. Okay, all right, all right. So people can hear me? Yeah, we're good there? It seems like people can. People are typing that in chat. So we'll go ahead and get underway here pretty soon then. So that's good news. Yeah, sorry about that. Mike just cut out. But anyways, you know, it's the first time I'm actually on a new desktop. I recently switched desktops to help me with the development process for the new game. So I've had to reset up OBS and my mic and all that stuff. And so there's probably going to be just one or two hiccups along the way, but we'll get those sorted out as quick as possible. Hopefully we'll have, you know, a decently smooth live stream here. And yeah, I'm Tyler, by the way. If you don't know who I am, I'm the lead developer for Cattails Wildwood Story. On Twitter, I'm at Falcon Develops. I was also the lead developer for Cattails in 2017, and I'm very, very excited to finally be sharing with all of you the very first live preview of Cattails Wildwood Story. Of course, this is going to be an early build of the game. It's an early build, so if anything comes up, you know, if there's a crash or something like that, don't freak out. You know, I'm here actively working on it every single day. It is progressing forward, and so, you know, just bear that in mind. Everything is subject to change. Nothing is set in stone at this point. So whatever you see here, this is just how it exists today. This is not, you know, representative necessarily of the final build quality when the game actually releases, which is like a year and a half away. So there's a lot of time left for working out any kinks in the system, if that makes sense. So it does look like people are saying that the stream is working. So we'll go ahead and get underway here, because I think enough time has passed that we've probably had, you know, enough people able to sort of jump into the stream and see what's going on there if you're planning on joining. I will also mention this entire stream is going to be available later for later viewing if you or a friend are not able to make it to the whole thing. So that'll be up on the YouTube channel. Feel free to check in at any time. And if you don't see that, you can hit me up, send me a DM on Twitter, something like that, and I'll look into it. All that being said, we'll go ahead and jump in pretty quick here. I did want to highlight real fast that I am joined today by my friend Crampy back there. There's a little Crampy plush back there. I'm going to go grab him real fast. So this is a Crampy plush made by our friends over at Symbiote Studios. He's been on my shelf for many of the Wildwood Wednesday videos up to this point, and so I thought that it would be fun to have him join us for the live stream as well. You can see on the bottom there he's got a little power paw on one of his paws there, the rainbow power paw. This plushie right here is actually going to be available during the Kickstarter, so if you find that interesting at all, make sure you follow our Kickstarter campaign at cattailsgame.com/KS so you can snag one of these, because they are very limited run. There's only a few hundred of these in existence at the moment. And so once the stock is out, it's kind of out. You know, that's kind of likely how we'll be treating it. So keep an eye on that. As soon as the campaign goes live, you'll probably have an opportunity to snag one of these if you want to. Or if not, totally cool too. But some people were asking about, you know, officially branded Cattails merch. And so we have a little bit of that now. So I'm going to go ahead and put him back on the shelf, and we can get rolling. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and boot this up. This is, again, a dev build. This is like pre-alpha v0.83 or something like that. Hopefully it'll pop up here. We'll make sure that OBS is playing nice today. There we go. All right, so we can see the pretty loading screen there. Of course, we have the lovely animation that the game opens with. This is by our friends at Wildwood Studios, who did a fantastic job. This was also part of the announcement trailer back in January when we revealed the game. So you can sort of see that. There's not a big picture there, but the game doesn't open with that. You can, of course, skip it if you want, but we'll go ahead and let it play through. It's not very long. Also, if people have questions, I haven't been doing a super great job of keeping up with the chat so far. But if you have questions, feel free to post them. If I see them and it's something that I can respond to, I'd love to be able to address it. But I will say that there is a lot of stuff Let's see about that. Does that seem about right? Is that about the right balance? Yeah, sorry about that. Again, my mic, I don't know what is going on with that. I can probably raise the gain on it. Let's try that. See if that's any better. Alright, okay, alright, looks like people are saying that's a little bit better. So let me know, I can tweak that further. Hopefully that's gonna be good enough for now. So, like I was saying, if you have questions, feel free to put them into the chat. I may or may not be able to comment on them because of the state that the game is in, but if I can, I'd love to be able to address some of those while the stream is going. And by the way, the stream will be about an hour. It might run just a little bit past 6 p.m. Eastern time, just because a little bit of a rocky start. So hopefully we can, regain 10 minutes or so on the back end of it. So if you're available to stick around for all that, feel free. I'll be here chatting. If not, again, you can watch it later. So that's always good. Let's see here. I see some interesting questions like, do the cats have thumbs? That's a difficult one because they are sort of anthropomorphic cats, but they can do a lot of more human-like things. They can, build buildings, for example, and they can carry things around. I don't know that really needs explained. But anyways, we'll go ahead and jump in here. We'll just start a new game up, and we'll go from there. So right off the bat, gotta get my controller connected. We're gonna hit new game, and then of course it's gonna jump us into the intro cinematic. I don't know that I have shown the intro cinematic at this point, but this sort of gives some backstory, some context to what's going on in the game before. Of course, the artwork was made by the wonderful Narabas Artworks, who I think did a fantastic job on all of this intro artwork. As you can see, it's kind of like parallaxed. I sent over the prompt. I was like, hey, can we get all of these pieces split into 4 separate layers so that I can sort of pan them and zoom them independently? And they were like, yeah, sure, of course. And so that was pretty cool. And I think the result turned out pretty good. Hey, Teacup Simmer, I see you in the chat there. How are you? And also Jay Plays, I see you there. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so I see some comments as well about Wildwood Wednesday. So of course, we've been putting out videos every Wednesday for the past about 2.5 months now that have been sort of detailing some of the features of Cattails, Wildwood Story, that you can expect. This Wednesday is the first one that's a little bit different because we're actually getting away from doing those weekly videos in favor of different sorts of content drops. So of course, this week is the live stream. For future Wildwood Wednesdays, we're hoping to talk a bit more about some of the Kickstarter reward tiers. We'll probably have blog posts that we can link to that will explain some of that a little bit better. And there's some pretty cool rewards too that we're excited about. Even if you're getting the standard edition of the game, we have something pretty special picked out that I think you'll want to be able to check out that you can only get if you sort of pre-order the game or you back the game on Kickstarter, that sort of thing. So yeah, this is our first dev live stream, of course. So again, bear with me if there's any issues with the game. Hopefully not. Cross fingers. That's always a little bit fun to see as a developer. You plan all these things out and you're like, oh, everything's great, everything will go off without a hitch, and then something always does. You get to the actual event and then something breaks or your mic doesn't work. So kind of fun, but we'll get to that when we get to it. All right, so of course, at a certain point there, we would actually have character creation come in. We have that sort of built into the game right now, and of course, there's going to be a whole tutorial sequence as well. But for the purposes of this live stream, we're just jumping right into the gameplay so that I can get to the good stuff quick, basically. So you can see here that we are living in our colony in the Wildwood. We have full control over our cat. There's a little ladybug flying there. I'll go ahead and catch him. There we go. And, the white cat is cool and all, but I do probably want to play with a cat that, looks a little bit more interesting, perhaps. So I'm going to go ahead right off the bat and just sort of start creating a coat. So we have all these presets that we could choose from. Plenty of options here, but if there's one that I just don't really vibe with, I want a yellow tabby, maybe. like this cream tabby, but a bit more yellow, maybe a little less cream, like even more yellow than the orange tabby. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of the orange tabby, and so I'm going to work from that as sort of a base, and then I'm going to go from there. So I kind of want to pick out these yellow colors, maybe not quite that dark. I want a really bright yellow. So we'll go ahead and set that as maybe the base. I'll add that to my palette, and then the head, we can reset that. The stripes are going to be a big deal here because we definitely want to make sure that those are sort of prominent to get that real tabby pattern. Oh, that could be good. Let's make them a little bit more red, maybe a little lighter. Yeah, something like that. So we'll go ahead and add that as well. We'll go ahead and set the other stripes to that color. So you can see pretty quickly here with the new tools, we can sort of generate the new color and really customize our cat pretty quick. I think I'm pretty much happy with that. I don't love the nose though, so I'm going to go ahead and update that a bit. No, that's way too cherry red. Let's make it a bit more orange perhaps, and a little lighter. There we go, something a bit more like that. And so that's pretty close. I might mess around with the belly just a little bit, you know, get that a bit more yellow, but we're really getting somewhere. Kind of like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call that my yellow tabby. So let's see here, YELLOW. So of course, as you create these colors, if you've seen the Wildwood Wednesday videos, it's going to save them here to the special, you know, page 3 of your Coke Studio. And of course, there are going to be more pages as well. There's no limit to how many colors you can create. But then I can go ahead and wear that, and now you can see that I'm, you know, walking around with my new yellow tabby color. I really kind of like how that turned out. It's very, you know, saturated kind of in your face, but that's a fun one. I haven't done a lot with yellow colors before. And of course, there's other ways we can customize our character. We can change up the body type. You know, maybe it's a fluffy cat. Change up the voice. I like voice 5 a lot. I'll probably just lower that pitch a bit. But I think I do want to go with a short hair cat today. I think I'm just going to give it sort of that kinked tail, and then we'll probably switch back over to the short hair body type. Those ears are a little too big. There we go. Yeah, something like that. And of course the eyes. The eyes are an important part of the character. I think with yellow, orange is kind of nice. Might go orange. And of course I can switch it up and have 2 different colored eyes as well, like maybe one's a red eye, but I don't feel like that's necessary with this design. So we'll just stick with orange. I could apply some accessories too. Yeah, I don't know that I want any of the starting accessories for this character. I'm not sure that those are going to go with the vibe that I'm going for, so I think I'll probably just stick with that for now. Alright, so we'll go ahead and walk around the colony here. You can see that this is of course the task board where you could, you know, accept and complete tasks on behalf of your colony mates. We can go ahead and talk to Coco. There's Coco. Felix, I've been hoping to catch you. I just wanted to know that if you ever need to carry out any sort of administrative task, I'm your cat. Come talk to me if you want to manage the colony, and I'll help you get everything sorted. So of course we can chat with Coco. Coco will tell us something about, you know, their day, or about us, or about the weather, or whatever it may be. Of course, this dialogue is going to change as you befriend Coco and really get to know this character. But another interesting thing you can do with Coco here is, of course, you can manage the colony. Coco is sort of your administrative point of contact for changing anything important about your group of cats. So Coco has this unique role, and so we'll go ahead and change some of the details up. So I think for the purposes of this live stream, I'm probably going to call my colony Livestream Colony, just because I'm not very creative. There we go. And we can, of course, change the title. It doesn't have to be Colony, maybe it's Livestream Kingdom. Yeah, I'm thinking Kingdom is good. And then, of course, we can change the emblem as well. There's plenty to choose from here. But I probably want to stick with one of the more... I kind of like that. The sort of chevron design is kind of nice. And then, of course, I can be called something other than perhaps leader. Let's say I want to be the mayor, because I kind of like how that sounds. And, you know, there's a throwback to the forest colony there. So I'll go ahead and apply that. And now everybody around town is going to make sure to call me the mayor of the Livestream Kingdom. And you can see that all of the allegiance icons above their heads next to their name have changed as well. So we can kind of walk around here. Oh goodness, it's already 5 p.m. I've spent a lot of time just customizing my character. So like here's Talon. We'll go ahead and say hello to Talon, just because we'll try to make the rounds here a little bit, get to know a couple of the cats before we move on. I think the sort of general concept of this stream is that I'm going to try to give sort of a vertical slice of gameplay. I'm going to try to do a little bit of everything. You know, a lot of it you've probably already seen if you've been following the Wildwood Wednesday videos up to this point. So we'll be doing some hunting, we'll be doing perhaps some mining, we'll probably mess around with the player den, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, seeing it live as opposed to cut and edited into a video is a little bit different, so hopefully you'll get something different out of that. This is Crampy's Clinic. This is one of the buildings that's actually available to you right from the start. You don't have to befriend Crampy to wander into the clinic, because, you know, Crampy is a doctor, and so at any point in the game, if you need healing, you know, even if you're not on particularly good terms with Crampy, you are still able to enter the clinic to receive medical treatment and those sort of things. So, of course, you know, Crampy is a big favorite of mine. Not my favorite character, but absolutely up there for me. And so I'm very excited to be able to bring back this character to all of you and sort of interact with Crampy in the game. So we could be healed if we were hurt, but again, we're not hurt. So what I might do here, since I have a little bit of time here, is I might head out and do a little bit of hunting before night falls too heavily. And then we can maybe try to earn some coins so that we can come back into town and maybe expand our den, perhaps purchase some more furniture or accessories, something of that nature. I think that'll kind of be the general goal of this stream, is to expand our den a little bit and maybe mess around with some of the furnishing features of the game in that regard. So, oh, there we go. I found a coin in that bush. So I'm trying to find some money just by destroying those bushes. I see there's a magpie walking by, so we'll go ahead and approach. You can kind of see how close you can get based on that circle around the magpie. Now, if I get really close, right up to the edge of that circle, and then I pounce, then I didn't quite get close enough. I would be awarded a potential additional experience point if I had gotten close enough. So I'll try to show off how that works. So here's a mouse. I'm going to try to get real close. I think that'll do it. Yeah, there we go. So you can see that the hunting bar looks a little bit different. It's sort of sparkly. The success window has actually increased because I got closer, and if I land that successfully, then I'm going to get 3 experience points instead of 2, so there's kind of a double benefit to studying the prey before actually pouncing. Oh shoot, got a little too close to that squirrel. He ran away, ran right up that tree, so he's out of my life, he's gone. So I'll have to find something else. Now that we have found a couple different types of prey, if I start sneaking here, you can see that scent compass has appeared around the edge of the screen, and at the upper right there, you can actually see a magpie. So I now know the scent of magpie, and so I can track magpies. Ooh, there's an enemy there, hiding behind that tree. There's a Voidland cat. And there's one right down there on the path, too. So that's going to be a little dangerous if I try to pounce into that magpie. So I think I'm going to... Oh, I'll go ahead and pounce on it, and then we'll just get into a fight. It'll be fun. I'm surprised that I encountered some enemies so early on, but, you know, it'll be fun. We'll deal with that. Deal with that threat. So some of these Voidland cats have special attacks, special abilities that they can use to kind of try to take you down. It looks like these ones are pretty standard. They haven't triggered any of their special abilities, so I think we'll just have a pretty traditional fight going on there. Of course, I can dodge their attacks with the new dodge button. I can charge my attacks. I can, of course, just do a quick attack, just like in the first game. Man, this is a speedy one, making it a little tricky for me to fight him off. And of course, he's dropped some Void Marrow. Hang on to that for later. Right here's a moth. This is a new type of bug to Cattails Wildwood Story. They only come out at night and only during the springtime. So I'll go ahead and collect a couple of those. It is getting a little late. It's 9:40, so I'll probably head back into town. I might try to sell some items at the shop. Ah, missed that squirrel. That was so close. And then once I get back into town, I'm going to sell some of my items, get some coins for those, maybe check out the shop a little bit. I'll say hello to Ember. Haven't met Ember yet, so we'll see what Ember has to say real fast. Perfect. And the music is cut out because it's gotten pretty late. But we'll go ahead and sell these items. Is there anything that I want to keep? Well, I got some marigold. I'll probably want to keep that because the marigold could help us if we go mining later, so I'll drop that on the ground. I'm going to sell everything else, though. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to get 37 Muse, Ember says. That's perfect. So we'll go ahead and we'll visit the shop, see what our 41 Muse that we have can buy us. So there's plenty of furniture. There's some music discs as well. We're really close to getting a music disc. I might want to buy one of those. We could get the jar of leeches for our den. We could place that down somewhere. I'll go ahead and buy that. That's kind of fun. All right, so we bought the jar of leeches. Our furniture catalog is expanded, of course. We could buy a mouse, but those are easy enough to find. And then I'll come back if I feel like I really need more golden seal later, if I haven't collected enough. So we'll go ahead and go inside. So this is, of course, the den. This is sort of the starting configuration. I'll go ahead and store that marigold. So that's now in my personal storage there, my den storage. I also have a calendar. I can check events and I can check birthdays on this calendar, see when the festivals are coming up, those sort of things. I have the record player. If I had purchased a music disc, I would be able to change what music is playing in the den. But I do not yet, so I'll have to unlock those later. And of course, there is the reflecting pool, the crystal clear pond, where I can kind of see some vision. So this is going to tell me the weather forecast. So it says that today it's going to be sunny. Oh, we got a storm coming up tomorrow. That's interesting. Those are actually pretty rare events. So we have a morning thunderstorm, and then it looks like we'll have clear skies in the evening. So that is good to know for tomorrow. We have the news channel, of course, which Coco runs, and this will tell us if it's anybody's birthday or if it's a new season, things of that nature, if there's festivals going on. We have Visions, which is kind of a general entertainment kind of channel. There's like some weird little shows that you can watch. They're kind of episodic in nature. And then, of course, the Wisdom channel, which is going to give you some helpful hints, tips, and tricks that might help you as you play the game. So that's going to be useful to watch every day, especially if you're new to Wildwood Story. I think that you'll probably learn some interesting things by watching that. But it is pretty late, so I'm going to go ahead and sleep here. And then I'm going to go try to catch up on the chat here while I'm sleeping. I see someone says, can we see the social panel? Yes, we absolutely can see the social panel. So we got the social panel here. Oh, you can hear that wind because the storm has rolled in. I don't know if that's picking up in the live stream. It's pretty subtle since I'm indoors, but you can see every character that we've met so far: Coco, Ember, Crampy, Laney, Talon. And then, of course, these are characters we haven't met yet. I haven't talked to them yet. And so it's going to tell me what my current friendship status is with all those characters, if I've talked to them today, if I've given them a gift today. So we'll go ahead and we'll try to talk to some people, although it is a little bit stormy out. I have a letter, so I might as well check that. Oh, I have a lot of letters. Got one from Crampy there, saying hello, thanks for stopping by, good to meet you. Got one from Ember, who's saying thanks for coming by the store. Looks like Coco sent me some task tokens to tell me how tasks work. And then, of course, just a general, welcome to Wildwood. This is our new home sort of a letter that Coco sent as well. Quiet Warrior says, go meet Ellie. I will do that. So I just posted about Ellie yesterday to the social media channels. Ellie is, of course, based on our studio cat, Ellie, who is also a calico. Completely based one-to-one on the actual cat. So here's Ellie in the game. I might be biased. I quite like Ellie because the real-life Ellie is very affectionate and cuddly and friendly. So we've tried to make the in-game Ellie sort of similar. And of course, Ellie was in the first game too, much younger in the first game, and so a little bit shorter hair and sort of more of a kitten. But now Ellie has grown up a bit. A little bit of time has passed. And so now Ellie is going to be able to be a part of your colony, kind of a contributing member of your colony. And of course, you can befriend Ellie, get to know them, bring them with you on your adventures, get married, all that stuff like you could with any of these other adult NPCs that you'll see during the live stream today. I see Starcloak says, Cattails game, what made you want to make a sequel? I love Cattails, but never expected you to make another one. Yeah, I wasn't actually planning on making a sequel for a long time, and then I sort of realized that I was hitting a little bit of a limit of what you could do with the first game, partially because of how it was made, but also partially because I had a lot of ideas that it would have been difficult to explore within the existing framework of the first game. So one of those ideas is, for example, that in this game, I loved the custom colony feature. of the previous game, right? So that feature would allow you to start your own colony, build it out as you saw fit, attract new residents, all this stuff. I think was a great feature. It brought a lot of replayability to the game. It extended past the main storyline, all this great stuff. But most players never actually got to experience that because it was locked behind end of story stuff. So when we were building the sequel, we thought, well, we can do things a little different, maybe even a little bit better. And so, for example, in this game, you're going to start with a lot of those tools right out of the gate. Eventually, once things are built out. So you'll be able to sort of customize your colony, and hopefully that'll be a bigger and better system than in the first game. And that's just one example of one thing where it was kind of like, well, if we started a sequel, we could actually do this a little bit better. We could make things bigger, we could make things better. And so, like, another area that's true of is, like, the new character portraits, right? Like, we have a new cast of characters. Some of them are the same characters, some of them are new characters. But in order to kind of switch up the art style, for example, it makes more sense to do that in a sequel, because then it's like everybody's starting from, a fresh blank page, and you can kind of go wherever you want with that. You can tell a new story within a new world, all those sort of things. And it's just sort of hard to do that if you're sticking with the same title. So we were looking at some other series that sort of do this, where they have life sim games that follow a serial number of games through the years, and they iterate and they improve on their mechanics with each new iteration. So, for example, Harvest Moon is a very long-running series that does this. And we were like, yeah, like we want to do something like that. It's like if Cattails was, an NES game, then Cattails Wildwood Story is, the SNES game is kind of our conception for it. So bigger and better, we wanted to refine our ideas and then to really bring some new ideas to life as well. All right, I'm catching up on the chat here just a little bit here. I'm going to sell some items to Ember while I do that. So I have quite a bit here to sell. I'm guessing yeah, 40 news, that's pretty good. So I do have enough to buy one of those CDs. I think I probably will. I'll go ahead and buy Spring 3. I like that song quite a bit. So I now have that, and I can put that in my den. So we'll go ahead and go back to the den now. And we might play around with some of the den customization features. So I can switch out music, and right now you can't actually hear music because it's storming out. Oh, there we go. Now there's music. So I'm trying to remember how I implemented this. So I guess it won't actually play music unless you have a CD going during a thunderstorm. I think that's what's happening there. So this game, one fun little feature of it that actually was not a part of the first game is that there's a dedicated meow button. So I can say meow, and that's why from the character creation panel here you can change your cat voice, because we wanted to really give your character that sort of audio cue. So you can walk around and meow if you want. The functionality of that is that if you meow in your den, it's going to summon Molby, who is this contractor mole, who was quite a big part of the first game as well. Molby would help you renovate your den. So Molby is now your point of contact for expanding your den, for placing furniture, doing anything that you want to customize your den. So if we talk to Molby, then we can view our storage. Like I got my marigold in there. Change up our den. We'll need a little bit more muse, I think, to really renovate. There's a lot of people who are saying they want to see Jag, so I'll go ahead and run down there real fast. Jag's not far away. So Jag's right down here, living in this boulder den, which is very reminiscent of the mountain domain den that Jag used to live in before he moved to the Wildwood. So we'll go ahead and talk to Jag. And Jag's going to tell us a little bit about their backstory and why they're out here in the Wildwood. All those sort of things. I wonder if we have something we could give Jag. I think I just sold all of my stuff. Oh, and I'm starving as well. That's what Jag is pointing out. So you can see in the lower left there, that fish bar there, that's actually my hunger bar. Luckily, there's a raspberry right here, so I'll go ahead and eat that. And that will help me stay up on my 4 feet for a little bit longer. Also, the world map is sort of stitched together in sort of a strange way right now. I realized that I just ran straight from the colony right onto the beach here. Eventually, that's not going to be the case, but it is for now, because as we build out the world, it has to be stitched in sort of a condensed way for our testing purposes. So I've just caught that frog. It looks like if I eat that, I'll be sitting pretty here. Caught some coral I found on the beach as well. I'm hoping I run into a crab. I think it would be really fun to show you guys how the crabs work. Oh, there's a sparrow. We'll go ahead and catch that. But at the beach specifically, there's a lot of crabs, and they are hostile critters that don't have a lot of health, and they aren't like worth a lot. They're pretty common creatures, but they will fight you. I mean, they're pretty aggressive, so they're kind of fun to play around with. They'll try to swipe at you, and they don't do a lot of damage. But that is one of the big new features coming to this game, of course, is hostile critters. So instead of just, frogs that sit there and get pounced on, or rabbits, or whatever it may be, now there's snakes and crabs and rats and things that will try to scratch you back if you attack them. And so sometimes you have to sort of stay on your toes. Even when you're not fighting, like voidland cats, who are the big enemies in the game, you still have some other threats that are coming at you. Oh, there we go. That was a good pounce. So I'll go ahead and head this way on the beach. Some more coral there. Yeah, I see some comments regarding the hunting system over on the YouTube channel, and I'm really, really happy with how... Oh, there's a crab. That's perfect. I'm really, really happy with how the hunting system is turning out in this game. I think that Cattails had a pretty good hunting system. There were a couple shortcomings that I didn't love, a couple things that felt unintuitive, I guess would be the word for it. I would, demo it at conventions and watch, pre-COVID, of course. And watch people kind of playing it in real time and realize that, if you're new to the game, you don't really get how this works, and I could do a little bit better job of explaining it. But there's also some structural issues there, so we really spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to improve that. Oh, that crab is just running. That makes it easy. So yeah, the new system I think is pretty great. I think most people are going to agree. But of course, if you don't love the new system, you can always, at any time, you can just open up the menu and change it. So QuickTime is the default here, but I can change it to coin toss or immersive. If you change it to coin toss, for example, then it's going to feel a lot like the first game. So the closer I get, the better my chance. And so I'll pounce, and now it'll just tell me my chance. It'll tell me if I made it or not. Looks like I failed that coin toss. And so that crab is going to attack me. I didn't succeed at the pounce, didn't get the experience for that. So I'll go ahead and try it on the frog as well. 65% chance. Do we got it? Just getting unlucky tonight. Let's try once more. Maybe there's a fish down there. It looks like there's probably a fish. Maybe near this island. What's on this island? Okay, there's a mouse there. That could probably do. 75, that's pretty good. Hey, we got the mouse. All right. And there's also immersive mode, which is very similar to coin toss, but in this one, you won't even see the coin. So it's basically the exact same mechanic, except no pop-ups will sort of interrupt your gameplay. And you also don't see the circle around the prey, which makes it a little bit trickier. But you can sort of feel it out, and then... So I did succeed at that pounce, but the crab has a little bit more health than I can take down in just one pounce. So I'll try to pounce on this mouse. It should feel extremely similar to the first Cattails. And I got the mouse. So again, that's always available. You can switch that at literally any time. So do whatever you feel comfortable with. I just feel like the QuickTime is sort of the right default choice, if that makes sense. But I totally understand that there's different playstyles, and some people will prefer the other ones. And so I wanted to be able to include those as well. So we'll head into the swamp area here. There's some herbs that sort of only grow in the swamp that I'm hoping that we'll be able to run into. Looks like I'm seeing a lot of marigold, which is great, because we can use those if we go mining later. I'm not seeing any thistle or snake lily yet. That's what I'm hoping to run into, although I don't think snake lily is going to grow. Oh, there's a starling. That's actually a really, really rare bird, so I kind of hope we can grab that. Oh, that's going to be tricky. So the good news is, if you're on the QuickTime, there's no time limit, so I can kind of sit here and wait for the perfect opportunity until I really feel comfortable. Ooh, just barely got that. That one was a little bit tricky, I will admit. But we got the starling. That's going to be worth a lot of money if we take that to Ember. So I might take some of this stuff back into town and try to gift it to some of the other cats. So I'm going to use a Valerian. That's going to increase my speed for a little bit, make it easier for me to get back into the town. And then hopefully we can become friends with some of the members of the colony. And get to know them a little bit better if we give them some gifts. And then I can demonstrate how that looks on the social panel as well. Alright, we just gotta head back across the beach and then up into town. I see a question, how does the bubble change to indicate how long you've left to swim? It kind of shrinks, so I'll just stay out here for a little bit. When that bubble gets all the way down to not being visible, that's when you're in danger. And it'll switch over to this sort of exclam too, so it'll let you know. I'll go ahead and eat a mouse, looks like I'm getting a little bit hungry. Cat Squid says, can you modify the exterior style of your den? Yes, so you can't yet, but that is absolutely a planned feature. So yeah, stay tuned. Okay, before I sell all this, I should probably give some out as gifts. So what would Talon want? Well, Talon, man, off the top of my head, it's hard to remember sometimes, to be honest. I'll bet Talon wouldn't mind the Sparrow, so we'll give him a Sparrow. Looks like Talon was neutral towards that. Laney's probably going to want maybe a mouse. Go ahead and give him a mouse. Oh, looks like I messed up. They did not like the mouse. So, good to know. Don't give Laney a mouse. Let's go give something to Coco as well. After we talk to them for the day. I think Coco... Oh, Coco might want some marigold. Alright, perfect. That was actually a really good gift. And we'll get something to Ellie as well. Now, Ellie likes birds a lot, I know that, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Sparrow. Perfect, so that was also a good gift. So if I go into my social panel now, you can see that I've talked to Coco, talked to Ellie, talked to Ember, talked to Jag, and then I've given gifts to some of those cats, so it's going to tell me all that, so I can keep track of that. And so, of course, you can only give one gift a day in this game, too. That's a bit of a change from the previous game, but the idea there is you really, really want to think through what gifts you're giving out and to who and when you're giving them. So you'll have to be a little bit more conscious about it because you only get the one chance every day. Alright, we're going to sell most of the rest of this. I will hold on to the healing herbs, so the golden seal and the marigold, because we're going to use those in the mines later. We'll get around to that. Oh yeah, we got lots of marigolds. And rank 2 marigold as well. So that's rank 2 marigold, that's rank 1 marigold. The rank 2 is better. That's going to heal us more, so that's more valuable. Go ahead and sell all of that. Perfect, now we have some Mews. We can probably use some of those Mews to upgrade our den. So we'll go ahead and run down here. Alright, we have Moldy here. We're going to renovate our den. We're not going to worry too much about furniture placement yet. So when you're renovating your den, you can actually do this freeform. It's very granular, it's sort of on a grid. You can remove flooring anywhere you want to remove flooring. So I think we'll make sort of an entry chamber down here. Then there will be a narrow hallway that's going to lead into our primary living space, which I think is going to be sort of this region up here. And then we might make like a storeroom off to the side. I think that would be good. And then maybe like a bedroom situation as well. I think that's going to be a decent design for a den. So let's make that just a little wider, and then this area will be a little bit wider too. So that's going to cost me 90 Mews to do that. And I can of course change my walls. I might do, let's do stone, and then we'll do like a sand floor for the primary area, and then we'll do bush walls with that rock floor for the secondary areas. So if I change the style over to 2, then I can overwrite these with style 2. Perfect. And then I'll go ahead and tell Moldy that I'm content with that. He's going to take my money, then he's going to renovate the den for me. Okay, perfect. So some of my furniture had to be moved, of course, because there's now walls where it used to be. But that's okay, we can always deal with that later. You can see now that I have this side room, I have this main sort of grand room that's going to be fun to play around with, and then I have this side room as well. So now we kind of need to furnish it as well. So we're going to place some furniture. I think I'm going to start by just removing everything, because I want it all out of the way, right? So that I can really focus on making a cool design here. So I'll open up my catalog. I definitely need a bed, right? So I need to choose my bedroom. And I kind of like this thatched bed. I think I'm going to put it over here. So that's going to be my bedroom. I'm going to put a calendar in there as well. And what else? I'm going to put the calendar in there. I think my crystal clear pond is going to go in there too, because I like to check that first thing in the morning right when I wake up. So that's going to make for sort of a comfy bedroom. Of course, I might want some lighting in here because it's kind of dark, so we'll put a couple windows in, install those right on the walls. Yeah, across from each other. That looks pretty good. Then, of course, I need to make my storage room, so I'm going to flip over to the storage room with storage. I think I'm going to go with the footlocker for the storage. So I'm going to put that against the back wall, probably. This will be where I'll check my storage, and then I'm going to just do some very basic decorating for the rest of it. So I'll put a wardrobe back here. And then we'll have some non-storage items that look like storage items, just to spruce things up a little bit. So we'll put a crate there. Oh, maybe a crate there. A couple more crates all around. I like crates. We'll rotate that just to get a different design. And then I'm going to put like a candle here for lighting, maybe. Oh, not there. Maybe like, oh, I can't put that on top. Maybe just in the corner. And an urn, I guess, because maybe I collected that during my travels. And then I think the only thing missing from this room is some sort of floor piece, maybe like a rug. So I'll put like a checkered rug down. I think that kind of looks like a storeroom. That looks pretty good to me. So let's work on the entryway real fast. I can do this welcome mat. I'm a big fan of the welcome mat. And then I probably want like some plants to flank that. So I'm going to switch over to freestanding furniture only, and I'm going to find where my freestanding plants are. I have these big potted plants. And I'm going to put those right in the corner. I like ferns. That's perfect. Entryway is looking pretty good, so we'll make our main room now. So I'm going to pick out a table that I like, which I kind of like the big oak log table. That one's kind of nice. I think that's going to work well. So we'll put that smack dab in the center. And then we probably want some chairs around that. So there's some log chairs. There they are. That will kind of go with that oak log feel. So we'll place some of those just sort of around. There we go. And then I want a light probably right in the center there. So I think I'm going to grab the firefly jar. Perfect, because that casts a lot of light. And we'll just sort of dump that on the table. I might put another in the corner just to light things up a little bit more. And I'm going to put a rug down underneath that, just to make it look a little nicer. I like the starry rug a lot, so I'm going to get a lot of use out of that. I think the other thing that's missing here is, of course, our record player, because we need to be able to play that disc that we purchased. I don't just want to drop it on the ground, though, so I think I'm going to put it on, oh, I don't know, maybe this pedestal? Maybe that'll work. And then we'll put the record player right on top of that. Hey, perfect! That fits like a glove! And then maybe I'll put, you know, a fancy little painting at the back. And, oh, there we go. Perfect. Maybe I was a house cat before, and so I have my food in my water bowl. Alright, we'll go ahead and call that good for now. I think that's a pretty comfortable looking den. Oh, right, the leeches. I do need to place the leeches since I purchased those. Crampy would be very, very proud. So let's grab some leeches. I think the storage room is the best location for those, because, you know, I don't want the guests looking at the leeches. They're kind of creepy. You can see them kind of squirming around in there. So we'll go ahead and do a little tour of the den real fast, just to make sure that everything's good. And there's the leeches. There's my storage bin, of course. I have my marigold. I'll pull that out. Here's my main room with my painting. My record player that's playing Spring 3. And, of course, the bedroom. With the pond, calendar, and the bed. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. I think the den turned out pretty good. So, of course, if I had more money, I could make that den quite a bit larger, too. So I would just need to collect a couple more mews, probably, to do justice to that. I think for the remainder of the live stream, I might head into the mines for a little bit, do a little bit of mining, so I'll bring my herbs with me. I should probably heal up before I head down there, though, because I do have a little bit of damage. So let's talk to Crampy. We'll get a little bit of healing here. He says for 6 mews, I can get healed. There we go. Please move a chair above the table down. Please, please, it's uneven. Yeah, so that was intentional. I kind of wanted it pulled out so that it looks like Looks like maybe I'm just a little bit messy and I left my chair pulled out, you know, so that it's functional. But I do agree it is uneven, so I can totally see where you're coming from with that. Lottie Kittison says, can you show collection? Yes, I would love to do that. So we have our collections panel. In the collections panel, you can see every type of prey that you've caught, and of course, if you highlight the prey, it'll do a little, you know, a little dance for you. So like that starling is gonna sing for us. It'll tell you how many you've caught, and also its rarity and a description. You can also see what hostile creatures you've encountered and defeated. You can see plants that you've harvested, so this is going to keep a running tally of all that for you. Any rarity, any quality of plant, this is just going to show you the highest quality, but it all gets pooled together into one slot. So like marigold, I've harvested different types of marigold, but it's just going to show me I've harvested 6 marigold total. We have different types of bugs, of course. These are just different items you can collect that might spawn. So like these seashells spawn on the beach, so it's telling me I found 3 of those. And then power paws, you know, there's several power paws you can collect over the course of the game. I haven't found any yet on the stream, but if I had, it would show me right there. And actually, before I head into the mines, that's actually a good idea. I know where one of the power paws is. It's going to increase my health, and so that would actually be super useful. So I'm going to head over that way. Alright, so somewhere around here there is a, oh right there. So this is the spring carving. It's a mysterious statue that's only going to light up in spring. It's very similar to the first game. There were similar statues scattered throughout the world. So you can see that it is glowing, so I can in fact interact with it since it is spring. So it says, I'm the steward of the great treasure. I watch over it until the one who complained it will come at last. You wish to challenge me for it. And I'm going to say, yes, challenge me. And then it's going to say the challenge is about to commence. So I'm going to need you guys' help on this. It's going to be a little bit tricky. So I need you guys to put in the chat what you think the right answer is. So we have a little bit of a quiz game show here. It's going to ask me some questions, and I need to give it the right answers. If I give 3 correct answers, then I'm going to get the power paw, which will help us in the mines. But if I miss 3 questions, it's going to kick me out, and then I'm not going to be able to receive this today. So a little bit of high stakes here. These are all cat-related trivia, by the way, so hopefully people will be able to jump in there. Why do cats lick their fur regularly? Is it to send a warning? Is it because they're hungry, or is it to stay clean? You know, I do have 2 cats, and of course I compiled the trivia, so it's a little bit cheating to have me answer these. But of course it is to stay clean. That's the correct answer. Moon Kitty says, I anticipated more of a fight. That was the intention with this mechanic. We cut the music out, make it real intense, make it real spooky, and then it just turns into a quiz game show. How many paws does a cat have? Is that 4 paws, 2 paws, or 6 paws? Wow, we were getting the real easy questions this time. I put some dummy questions in there, just, you know, to give you an easy bowl. And it looks like we've gotten 2 of those in a row, so of course the answer's 4. How? I see some people saying 6. Definitely 6. I could go consult with my 2 cats. I'm pretty sure they only have 4. How high can an adult domestic cat jump? Now this one is a little bit tricky, but if you think about it for more than 5 seconds, I think the answer will probably reveal itself. Most domestic adult cats can jump about 5 feet, so we'll go ahead and say that. Of course that's correct, so the statue is going to give up the prize, which is, in this case, a yellow power paw, so not the red power paw, which I thought it was. It's the yellow power paw. But the yellow power paw is still good. What this is going to do is it's going to increase our run speed, so that will be useful. That's going to help us dodge some of the enemies a little bit better. So I do think that's going to help us in the mines. I'm not terribly upset about that. So now if we go to collections, you can actually see that yellow power paw is appearing in the power paw collection. So we did it. Good job, everybody. Appreciate your help. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sleep since it is 9:50, and then we'll head into the mines. Try to get a little bit of mole cash, maybe. Oh, there's that stump pulled out. Just to infuriate anybody who needs everything lined up perfectly in a grid. That one's for you. Tamara Adelson says, Powerpaws have different varieties now. Yes, there are several varieties. There's blue, red, purple, green, rainbow, and yellow varieties, and they all have different effects. So you'll have to, you know, it'll keep you on your paws. You'll have to figure out what all of them do. So Crampy has sent us a letter because we visited the clinic and got healing from Crampy before, and because it was the first time, Crampy sent us a little letter and said, hey, thanks for visiting the clinic. It was my pleasure to assist you, and here is some golden seal for your trouble. So that's actually super useful. It's nice that that happened right before we were about to head into the mines, because we can absolutely use that. So here's the mines. This is where all the moles live. Of course, here's Molo, the 4-man mole, who you may know from the first game. We can check out the shop. This headlamp is going to be useful later. I don't know if we'll make it that far, but that is useful. I think what I'm going to try to get is this glowing mushroom right here, because that's a great little lighting piece for the den. So if we can unlock that and place that, that's kind of my goal right now. So we'll go ahead and head down. The mine teleports, so once you reach level 25, for example, you actually get the teleport to the level 25 rest stop automatically, which is different than the first game. It's just given to you. So that's actually super useful. You don't have to spend your mole cash on it. You just have to make it to 25 once, and then you can come back there anytime you want from the surface. So if we can make it to 25, that would actually be a great little stopping point. So we're on level 1. Here's Molt. Molt's a little friendly mole who's going to help us learn how to mine. You know, sort of the tutorial mole, if you will. And Molt has some interesting things to tell us, like that you can find staircases under the rocks, and that there's gems further down, if we can make it further down. So I found a staircase, but something interesting to note about mine floors in this game is that there's actually 2 staircases on most levels, so you have multiple ways of proceeding. So like there's the second staircase there. I see Max says, any new information about the story in this new game? I would say at the beginning of this live stream, we demonstrated the intro cinematic for the game, which actually has a lot of info about the story for Cattails Wildwood Story. So if you have a chance, after this video is archived, I would recommend that you go back and watch that, maybe with a more fine-tooth comb, and you might get some more info about the story out of that. But basically, you know, your old place where you lived with all of the cats from Cattails 1 ran into some trouble. The Forest Guardian was in trouble, and so now you need to move on and find a new place where you can sort of stabilize the Forest Guardian. And so now you've come out to the Wildwood, and there is actually a temple as well where I could have visited the Forest Guardian if I wanted to, because the Forest Guardian is going to be more of a big player in this game than they were in the first game. So I've found an interesting staircase here. So this one is actually broken, and so I can't really use it because it would be dangerous to use it. But if I had a masonry kit, which is an item that I can purchase on the surface, then I could actually unlock this staircase and go down it. Fortunately though, since I do not have a masonry kit, there's always another way to proceed. So you can see I've unlocked a new staircase, but this one has a giant padlock. So I have to figure out the challenge around this. So the trick with this one is that there's a key hiding somewhere else in the rocks. And so if I can find that key, and there it is, that was really easy, really convenient. I found the key, that unlocks the staircase, now I can go down. But I will say, if you don't bring masonry kits down or whatever, there is always a way to proceed, so never give up. You're not going to get stuck in the mines. The only way that you could get stuck in the mines is if, you know, you hit like a combat floor and you don't have any health left. But of course, the way to get around that is to bring more healing herbs. So you do have to prepare a little bit. So I see my hunger's getting a little low. I'm going to go ahead and eat the mouse. I will also mention bats can now be eaten. They're not super flavorful, but if you're low on hunger, so I'll go ahead and pounce on this bat to try to get that. Once I have the bat, I can eat it for 1 hunger bar refill. So that's going to be useful. Of course, you do have to fight the bats, so there's some risk associated with getting that, but there is a benefit as well. There's these new enemy types too, these spikes. They're like death Roombas is what I call them. So if they hit you, of course, that's going to hurt. But I can attack them, and once I get them down to 0 health, they have a pretty interesting behavior. They can actually help you mine as well, so we'll kind of watch that. They explode! And of course the explosion will clear other rocks and hurt other enemies too, so you want to, once you get them down to 0, you want to get away from them pretty fast. So we'll go ahead and dispatch of this other spike as well before moving on. There we go. And then I won't wait for him to explode since there's no rocks around him. There's a bat hiding behind that rock. I don't think that I need it. Quiet Warrior says, can you still get stuffed buffs like extra speed? No, so that has actually gone away. So instead of the percentage meter for hunger, we've opted for a slightly different route because the percentage meter was not at all intuitive. It didn't feel quite good to a new player. And of course, going up to 150% doesn't really make much sense. So we went with a bar this time instead of a numerical meter. So that's the fish bar down there. The benefit to having your hunger meter full is, of course, that you don't starve to death. So there's still a benefit, it's just not quite the same. I see a question, Emma Porter says, are there going to be black hares? There's actually not black hares in this one. There's a lot of types of prey. So these are all the types of prey. So there's quite a few. Quite a few even more than in the first game. But the types of rabbits in this game, there's rabbits, and then there's hares, which are actually distinct species. But having, yeah, so it's just normal rabbits, normal hares. That's going to be the rabbit type prey. So I found a unique staircase. This is a staircase that will lead us down to a lake level. You can kind of tell because the staircase looks different and it has some water coming down it. This is a unique mine floor called a lake. These are actually pretty good to find because there's fish in the lake. So if you're good at hunting, you can get a little snack out of these. And of course, we found our first gemstone rock. There's this rock with little crystals poking out. If I destroy that, I'm going to find, looks like some quartz. So quartz is the lowest tier gemstone that you can find, but that's still worth some mole cash. So I definitely want to be able to pick that up. And anytime that there's gemstones, it will actually be denoted by a rock with crystals poking out. So you'll want to keep an eye out for those. So here's like a vein, and these are both going to be quartz. And so I can get 2 quartz out of those. I see a question about skills in the chat. Yes, so active skills are still going to be a thing, absolutely. You train them at the scratching post at your den. I do not have information to give about that yet, but stay tuned and we'll definitely talk about those at some point. It is planned. We'll go down the staircase. I also see questions about kittens, and that's also a topic that I can't really talk about yet. It's a little bit more of an advanced topic that obviously we aren't going to get to in this live stream. The live stream is actually going to be wrapping up pretty soon here. I'll hang out for another 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then we'll wrap things up. But again, I can't really talk too much about kittens. Just know that yes, you can have kittens. You can have kittens with any marriageable cat. And that it'll look somewhat like the system from the first game, but again, we are trying to improve that system in any way that we think is feasible. So I got another quartz there. I'm going to continue down the staircase. Looks like I'm not quite going to make it down to 25, so I'm going to do something that I would not recommend anybody else do, but because I am the developer, I can do it. I'm going to cheat, so don't tell anybody. Oh no, I took that cheat out, so actually I can't do that. Good news is actually that because I did not cheat, I found another unique staircase there. This one will lead us down to a ruins level, which are kind of interesting. They're kind of good, kind of bad, and the reasoning for that is that ruins levels are trapped. So you can see here there's a spike trap. You do not want to be standing on that when the spikes pop up. And there's also sometimes pressure plate traps that will fire arrows out of the walls, so you gotta watch for those. But on the the ruins levels, you also find these treasure chests, which are guaranteed to have something interesting inside. So that one had silver ore, which is an ore that I don't think I'm actually far enough down to find yet, so that was kind of useful. And there's the staircase. Oh, there's a pressure plate. So if I step on this pressure plate, then an arrow is gonna fly out of the wall at me. Of course I don't. Oof. Don't really want to get hit with that, so I'm going to go ahead and heal up a little bit. And then eat maybe this trout and this bat. That should fill me back up. I will note, too, I have a lot of marigold here. And marigold actually has a different purpose in this game than it did in the first game. Instead of marigold just being, like, objectively better golden seal, it now heals you just a very little bit, but its primary purpose is to treat poison. So if I had encountered, say, a rat or an adder, which are a poisonous type of snake, and I got into a tussle with them, and they had inflicted a poison effect on me, then I could use my marigold, and it would cure me of that poison. So instead of losing health over time, I would be just dandy. Alright, so we're making good progress here. Oh yeah, I see a comment about the bleh that appeared above the cat's head. That is because I was eating a bat, and the cat does not find the flavor profile of a bat to be particularly good, if that makes sense. How many gemstones are there? This is a question from Violet Rivers. There are actually quite a few. There's more than there were in the first game. So in the first game you had, if I can remember right, you had topaz, emerald, ruby, sapphire, and diamond. In this game you have all of those in addition to quartz, amethyst, amber, and several new types of ore as well. Laddie Kittison says, does meowing scare prey? It actually does not right now, but that's actually not a bad idea. I had not considered that. I see a question about multiplayer. No, so Cattails is a single-player only experience. There are a lot of challenges with translating this sort of a game to a multiplayer format that we do not have the resources to overcome right now. And frankly, part of the nature of it, like, you know, with special event-like cutscenes and stories that progress at a certain pace, it isn't really feasible for us at the moment. So Cattails Wildwood Story is going to be an entirely single-player experience. That's the intent right now. I see Loonfalls says, is the storage unlimited? You've been collecting a lot. I will note that the storage is not unlimited, but it is very, very large. The storage, there's 6 pages of 30 slots each, and each of those slots stack up to, I want to say 99. So it gets... it would be difficult to fill it up, I'll put it that way. You can also tell that like items stack in your inventory now, and if I were to purchase an inventory upgrade, I could actually stack more than 3. So like you see all these rocks, it's like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. If I upgrade my inventory all the way, things will stack up to 9 in just my inventory, so I can actually carry a lot more. So I'll go ahead and sell all this, try to get some mole cash. Okay, that should be enough. So I can use this mole cash to purchase the glowing mushrooms. That's perfect. Thank you, Molo. Molo tells me that my furniture catalog has expanded, so I'll run back home. And we'll go put those down, and then we'll probably wrap things up pretty shortly after that. I do really, really appreciate everybody coming out, watching the stream, checking it out. I am very, very happy to finally be able to show you guys the game in its current form, you know, in its early alpha form, but to show it off live is always kind of an exciting experience. You know, every day I'm sort of sitting here working on it solo, and so sometimes you sort of lose sight of sort of the feedback and the energy that comes with that. So I got these glowing mushrooms now that kind of emit a greenish light, a greenish blue light. Quite happy with that. So that's a nice piece of furniture. So I'll go ahead and go to sleep here, and then we will probably call this stream to an end. I'll go ahead and close out the game. Again, thank you everybody for joining. I had a great time. I hope you did as well. I'll have this stream archived for later viewing, so feel free to go back and watch it whenever you want. I would also say, if this was interesting to you at all, and you haven't already, please do follow our campaign on Kickstarter. It is at cattailsgame.com/KS, and I'm going to go ahead and put a link to that in the chat right now. So if you go to that site, you can follow our campaign. That's going to give you a notification as soon as the Kickstarter goes live. And I guarantee you that if this is a game that looks interesting to you, you're going to want to check out the Kickstarter, because we will have some very fun rewards that you can only get if you're supporting us pre-release. So we'll have more to say about that on future Wildwood Wednesdays. So stay tuned for that. Very, very exciting stuff coming there. But yeah, thank you again for watching. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'll see you guys some other time.